All right, there we go. Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, genders in between, genders undecided. How are we all doing today? Welcome to Fanservice, the episode that will have no best of clips because it's just me and I'm going to be by myself for a while. I hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a delightful time tonight. It is Tuesday. It is Wednesday. Tuesday was Brad's Web. Today is Wednesday, where we do fan service, your geek field trip into the world of pop culture and weird things that we like to say. I know that's not what Gavin says, but that's what we do. So I apologize for no theme song or no Kevin's intro, but Gavin is busy and Harley is doing school and mom carrying stuff. So today you just have me and being and normal stuff, and so we're going to talk about some headlines.
You sort of have me.
I sort of have a wife in the background who's busy working on her own things, playing Guild Wars or WoW. I think she's in Guild Wars right now, so yay! So we're going to move on to the news real fast because it's going to be a bit of a short run tonight because we just have me and then I have to do commentary about what I said and then, I have to argue with myself and that's just weird. I've done it before though. I mean, if you're ever at the studio with me, I'll constantly be arguing with myself or telling Gavin. Yeah, I can be. Or Courtney will argue with me, which is always fun. Courtney can argue with me and it will be fine. I'm going to move my mic a little bit then so that way you can hear it a little bit better. Alright, so...
Oh, so you're going to put it right behind my monitor.
Well, I can't put it near the computer, otherwise it hears the fan moving. So, talk again? Talk again, Courtney?
Okay. How about me?
Okay, you're fine. Alright, so first off, what we're talking about is the Animaniacs preview trailer. Got shown off today. Coming out November 20th, we get more Animaniacs with the original cast, including new skits of Pinky and the Brain, which was one of everyone's favorite thing. I loved Animaniacs. It had a lot of kid and not kid humor, and it was. My dad even enjoyed it at the time, and he doesn't really like cartoons that much. He does, but he doesn't. You have to get his interest, and that definitely did. It did a lot of very funny satire humor, and it was just good for that. I'm glad that they're bringing back Pinky and the Brain. I mean, Yakko's voice is also the voice of, or Wacko's voice is also the voice of Brain. That's Paul Beasley. Paul. Dang it, I forgot his name. But he is going to be reprising his role. Like everyone's reprising their role, so it's gonna be great. It's always a thing. Pinky and the Brain being back, but Courtney, what was one of your favorite returning gags?
Oh God. Hello, Nurse.
The Hello Nurse, yeah, they've already hinted that that's coming back. Probably not as much back because it is more of a PC crowd, and technically that is sexual harassment. So we'll be kind of interested to see how that comes back. Yeah, I do hope Dr. Scratch and Sniff comes back. I don't remember who was his voice or if it was another actor altogether that played him. So it will be kind of interesting to see if Dr. Scratch and Smith, Dr. Scratch and Sniff, or the Hello Nurse, or Ralph the Guard make a return. I'd love to see Ralph the Guard make a comeback because theoretically they actually do acknowledge that they haven't been on for 27 years and that they've been doing other things. So it will be kind of interesting to see who all returns if they do have returning characters or if they have if they acknowledge the time loop. So like the CEO is no longer the CEO, it's like his kid or something, or they do actually do the whole there was an episode where they had the spirit of, like, they did the Christmas Carol version of the Animaniacs, and Ralph's son took over the company and made the CEO the idiot guard who had to watch the Warner Brothers and ultimately gets fired. So it would be kind of interesting to see if that actually is canon, which is weird to say, but yeah, there is canon-ness to Animaniacs. I don't know. It will be kind of fun to see if they do that. I'm really hyped. November 20th on Hulu. I'm trying to think, is Hulu attached to anything that's like bundled with it? I know it's part of Disney Corp, but don't you have to pay for it separately, right? Or is it part of Disney Plus? I think it's separate. Or I know there's some groups that have it as a bundle, like I think AT&T or something. If you have one of the things, no, it's not AT&T because AT&T does the whole HBO Plus. They have a commercial with a ghost involved in that. So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting. So I can't wait to see those episodes. I'll definitely try to be watching them. Maybe get a free account to Hulu and like get a couple episodes beforehand. I like really want to watch this Animaniacs. Like I said, it was one of my favorite cartoons. But moving on from that, as you all know, I'm a gigantic tabletop RPGer, and I love my games. We still have a show to finish editing. We only did a couple episodes for Courtney's cancer, and then of course Corona happened, or COVID happened, not Corona, but COVID happened. So it is kind of sad. We didn't get to finish filming the series, but as I did say, did do a TV series involving tabletop role playing games. I just brain farted on the word tabletop role playing game. I apologize. And it's called Overarms, and it's the creative idea of like they're inspired by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Shaman King's Fate, and the Persona franchise, and a couple other medias. But the concept is you are a character who can use these avatar-like creatures that like things that can like come out, and they are the living embodiment of like mythology or historical characters, and you get a whole bunch of fighting abilities with them, and it's really kind of cool. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is the Kickstarter does end in, according to streaming, I think about in 10 hours, as when we were streaming, so it will be over by the time this goes in pre-record and a recorded status. But Overarms, which is just Overarms, and the arms I think is capitalized, is got a free quick start guide, and they released this while they were doing the Kickstarter guide, and I think this is really brilliant. If you're a tabletop role player game developer and you're like, hey, I want to get it out, doing a quick start guide, giving people a sample of what your game is about with the rules and everything, particularly if you're doing a new system, if you're doing Savage Worlds or you're doing a Cypher or a Fate or a D&D module style thing, you probably don't need to have that free little giveaway, but to get that free giveaway on a game with a fairly new system is a really good idea. What do you think? Courtney, you actually read this one.
What? Yes.
Overarms?
Yes.
And you already made a character based off a previous character that maybe basically she's JoJoing a role playing character of her own that she's like putting back into this game, but as in modern times. It's going to be kind of interesting. We are setting it in modern times, by the way, my adventure.
Okay.
So, but it lends itself to a lot of ideas. One of the other fun things about it is anything can have this ability, and all it has to do is be a living creature.
Actually, be right back.
And so it could be a cat, it could be a dog, much like a dog or cat in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or it can be. There was a dog in Persona in Persona 3 that had the ability, and also a robot.
A cat in Persona 5.
And a cat. Morgana is not a cat. How dare you! Lady Anne will be. Morgana will be sad. Lady Anne, do not listen to such vicious lies. Not a cat. That is a running gag in that game. And what Morgana really is you should be playing Persona 5 Royal. That's what you should be doing. But yes, check out Overarms on Drive Through RPG. I highly recommend it. It's free. It gets your feet wet. Gets you into the taste. It's not a very complicated system at all. So, it is not complicated, but it is deep. So you will get something out of it. Next up on my story is a two-punch, and so we'll be going with this, and that is Doom Patrol gets a third season on HBO Plus. So more Doom Patrol is good. Doom Patrol first season was very widely loved. It was definitely one of the reasons to own DC Online streaming service. It was kind of the thing that it got moved to season 2 was on HBO Plus, but now we of course know that DC has moved everything to Warner Brothers has moved everything into HBO Plus, including things that weren't even attached to DC, like many Warner Brothers cartoons and Cartoon Network cartoons. So they're doing their own little compilation of a bunch of networks all tied into one giant streaming service. So you can watch your Cartoon Network cartoons, you can watch Doom Patrol, you can watch HBO. But yes, speaking of Doom Patrol, third.
Are also on HBO.
Yeah, and Studio Ghibli's on HBO. So if you want a Studio Ghibli fest and see what a cartoon's like without having musical numbers attached to it, you can always watch those. Whimsy. And yeah, I can't wait for thing. I can't wait till next week because I definitely want to talk about things DC, not DC, that Disney Plus wishes would have been a success. And everyone is laughing at them. Laughing at you, Disney. Laughing hard. But speaking of the other punch of a DC news story, Young Justice Season 4 has been announced and the fans rejoice. A show that nearly gets canceled multiple times than it should is actually finally getting its fourth season. It's getting its fourth season out on the heels of Season 3, which many fans were really, really happy with because Season 3, of course, much like any of the other seasons of Young Justice, ends on a cliffhanger where we must know the answer to. So it is going to be nice to see those answers come forth in Season 4. I'm super excited. I also kind of would like to know a lot of people's opinions, maybe in the comments, about what you guys think about shows that, like, it has a large enough following to warrant viewers and also warrant for people to demand to keep it alive and the studios to listen, and the studios keep threatening to cancel. Kind of like to see your guys' opinions on, what it is by studios that don't maybe see the numbers that they don't think they're seeing. Because it always seems to be like with Young Justice and a couple other shows where they're like, oh, we're just not getting the numbers, but obviously you are getting the numbers because people are complaining enough that you listen to them.
To be unfair, I suppose, to Warner Brothers.
Yeah?
Warner Brothers canceled Young Justice because it didn't have the young male audience that they wanted. It had plenty of other audience, just not the young male.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the first season of Young Justice was canceled because the demographic of the, 13 to 18-year-old male was not watching it. Who was watching it was the 13 to everyone else age group of female and adults. And so it was a lot of females watching it. It was some adult males watching it, but that key demographic of the 13 to 18-year-old male demographic wasn't buying it. And for Warner Brothers, that means they weren't selling action figures. And that might totally be true. But what everyone else will buy is everything else that's not an action figure. The toys, the cups, the backpacks, the bags, the weird merchandise, the little keychains, the Barbie dolls. There are some action figures that will sell, but it's everything else that those people will that groups will buy that gets those people to buy things. And I'm genuinely excited to see that maybe Warner Brothers and some of these executives are starting to learn that these markets are definitely worth tapping into, because that's how your product stays on, is these people have to see that the marketing sells, because that's all they care about. Much like in the 80s and whatnot, the cartoons are only there to sell everything on the shelves. In this case, everything that's online. You're supposed to go to the DC store and you're supposed to buy, like, all the merch. Like, that's why, like, if you remember Homestar Runner, like, they had Cheat Commandos. And it's Cheat Commandos, buy all our playsets and toys. I mean, Ninja Turtles, every character was a... Sorry, my mic fell down. Ninja Turtles, every character on that show was at least 6 different figurines. And then, like, Transformers was, like, every episode was a new Transformer showed up that you could go run off and buy. And they used to have some of the combiners. The original combiners, many of them were sold separately. Like, you had to go out there and find them. So if you go out there and you find, like, 5 of the guy who's supposed to be the right foot, but you can't find the left foot, it's kind of weird. So it's always been, that's how they used to run. Now they sell the combiners as one giant box, but they also sell it for, like, if the individual figure would have been, like, a little bit more than it's supposed to, but they sell it as a bundle and it's fine. But yeah, it's it is good that season 4 is happening. It's good that we're getting more of everything for Young Justice. That they are finally listening to the fan base that's involved in that. So, yay! But unfortunately, this is all I really have news story wise and reactions. There are more news stories, but some of them involve our other members of our crew, and I kind of want to get their take on it, particularly like Sony just announced a bunch of games, and there's one game I know that we're going to be talking about on here, not on Super Gamer Bros. But got to have Harley here for that one, and you know which one it is. We'll definitely be talking about that next week. But, I don't want to go into a lot of things because there is a lot of other news stories that happened this week we're going to go into next week. Guys, stay tuned. Keep watching. Tomorrow, Gavin and Cynic and myself are going to be on Super Game Bros. We're going to be talking about possibly the PlayStation 4 release. Since we missed last week before, that would be the Xbox release. So we're going to have a Sony versus kind of Xbox thing kind of going on in news stories. So it's going to be really interesting to see because Sony made some interesting announcements and choices. And they definitely brought some A-game material, and it's going to be interesting to see all three of our takes on it. So definitely stay around to watch. Keep us on tuned on through Twitch, through DLive, or through Facebook, through any of our things. Make sure you follow and share. Keep liking us, keep watching us, keep getting our numbers up, because the more our numbers go up, the more we're allowed to do some really fun things outside of streaming, particularly when COVIDville finally gets loose and we can go out back doing our live fun things that you guys used to really enjoy watching us do. So I'm going to let you guys go. Everyone stay safe, be good, and we'll keep going. And you can always find me streaming on Twitch, so have fun.